Right on. Well, thanks for joining me, Tom. Tom Heckbert, the National Sales Manager at IBC. And we're sitting here at the Calgary POP, first event to kick off the season. How's the event so far for you?
Good. It's more and more people coming through the door too as we get later in the day, which is to be expected.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as soon as the food's served, everyone shows up around that. Right?
Yeah.
That's the trick. Bring in the food.
Yeah, the bar was open right away. That wasn't enough. You got to eat first, then you can partake.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just responsible. That's all that is.
So let's talk about IBC's busy year. You guys have launched tons of new lines with the combi boiler, the electric boiler. You guys got so much on the go. Talk to me about all these new lines that you guys have been launching.
Yeah, it's a pretty remarkable cadence of product releases. I think it's going to be 5 products over the course of the year.
That's insane.
Some of them are for one is the Superflow boiler. So we've had the Superflow combi and tankless on the market for a while. There used to be a different version of the Superflow heat-only boiler that's now replaced with the SFB series, which is kind of more just filling in the gap in that lineup, which is kind of our good entry product. Very robust product, but now it's all the options are available. And then we also, about a couple months ago, launched our CX Combi, which is the combi version of the VX boiler.
That's right,
It has a Grundfos combi block built in underneath the heat exchanger.
Yeah.
Deliberately oversized to increase the efficiency of the appliance and give it a longer lifespan before it'll need servicing on that heat exchanger. That one's very exciting, but that's also because the combi market continues to grow. We have to make sure we're in that flesh out the VX product line a little bit more. But some of the other ones are the really exciting ones, which are our products in our decarbonization push. I think it was the start of 2022 was when the Vancouver bylaw changed, and suddenly in IBC's backyard you couldn't pull a permit on a residential new construction under certain parameters with a gas appliance for heating or domestic hot water. Had to be an electric appliance. So all of a sudden, a gas boiler company that was founded in BC couldn't sell to their own neighbors.
That's wild.
So there was a push then to get electrification and electric product on the market as soon as possible. So several products have come out this year in that vein.
Yeah.
The electric boiler was actually the first one to come out. It was developed within the Ream family of brands with a partner. So it's only IBC's product. 4 to 12 kilowatt, kind of a small residential today, but with larger sizes in the works. We'll have commercial sizes out in the not too distant future.
That's exciting.
So that'll be a 2024 product launch, but that happened this year. Right now we're doing pre-sales for our hydronic heat pump.
Oh, right on.
So a monoblock air to water heat pump.
Heat pumps are crazy popular right now. They're taking over, eh?
Well, it's a lot easier to move heat around than it is to make it. So if you do resistance electric, you can get up to 100% efficiency basically.
Yeah.
But if you just move heat that's naturally existing in the environment and put it in your water, that unit's highest potential efficiency is about 500%.
Yeah.
So you can get a lot of performance for the same sort of amperage that you might get on electric. You get a lot more input. So
for sure,
it's very very beneficial to the homeowner to get really high efficiency appliance.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of government rebates and other incentives available for them, including the Greener Homes Grant. If you stack them all on in BC, I think it's a total of around $11,000 in rebates is available to the homeowner.
To the homeowner. Wow, that's insane.
There's a lot of push from the market to move that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of opportunity, but that is IBC and Ream overall is very much betting that the heat pump revolution we're all underway in now is only going to continue and grow.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop. There's just going to be more heat pump products. So we wanted to get product on the market as soon as we could. There's a lot to that, but now the pre-sales are in. That product's launching officially in September 25th this month.
Exciting.
So yeah, that's a very big deal. And then IBC, which I'm going to spoil this. This is normally something we quiz people in the training, but IBC is integrated boiler control. When IBC was founded, in all boilers that were being sold in North America, that was pretty uncommon. Most of the time, the control was an external component. The boiler was more simple. It didn't have that built in. Yeah. IBC made that its thing. But that means really IBC is kind of a boiler control company that makes boilers too. Yeah. So we're control specialists. Our lead engineer is a controls engineer.
Oh, really?
So we are in the process of developing and are very nearly ready to launch our Sky 35 control that as we're calling it. There's a lot to follow in that. It's going to be a whole system multi-energy control.
Yeah.
So it will it'll run all of the equipment that you have in your mechanical system all coming back to one central controller.
That's insane.
That's portal ready, so you can monitor it from anywhere.
That is so convenient.
It's going to be a very big deal when people see it.
Yeah, it's a game
so
changer for sure.
It's and as soon as you get hands-on with one, it's the only thing you're ever going to want to use.
Yeah. So is there a learning curve for the contractor to set all this up and get it ready for the homeowner and the end user to use?
For us within the industry, this is going to be a very tumultuous period of time because there's a lot of new stuff to learn.
Yeah.
Like for example, it's pretty traditional to put in a boiler with a 20-degree delta T. You can't do that on a heat pump. It's 5 to 8 degrees. So if your system is set up for 20 and you try to put in a heat pump, you may have issues with it.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to learn new things about how to run it, and everybody's going to have to go through a pretty advanced learning curve pretty fast.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we're coming up with the control is we think we can make it provide guidance on startup, so it'll make the installation go smoother and just handle the integration of the equipment more seamlessly. So we're trying to do what we can to make that a little bit easier. But yeah, there's a lot of new stuff to learn. For the end users, then it's all benefits. They get these super efficient systems that should last a very long time. They're very because they operate at low temperatures. For most of their components, they're very low wear and tear overall.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what's the biggest impact that they're going to notice? Like, are they going to see reduced bills, or like what's sort of the homeowner going to see as the biggest impact for them?
Yeah, utility cost savings is the biggest thing, and I mean, of course, that varies based on what your utility rates are, gas and electric. But every homeowner will see a reduced cost of heating and cooling their home. That's the other thing about the heat pump, is that because you have to operate in a cold climate, they have to have defrost mode, which means they have to be able to do cooling.
Yeah.
So it's a heating and cooling heat pump. So hydronic cooling is now possible, so you don't need an outdoor AC or heat pump unit anymore.
That's insane.
Air to water monoblock can do it for you. So,
that's awesome.
But that's a whole new learning curve too. Hydronic cooling is very complicated. There's a lot to know get right, or it can go quite wrong. So there's lots and lots of exciting stuff coming, but a lot of new information to impart to the market.
Do you see with these changes of the heat pumps, do you see that sort of taking over your product line in the future, like talking 10 years out kind of thing? Do you see that being the leader?
So our expectation is that within the next 10 to 20 years, you'd be looking more commonly at hybrid systems. So you put in a heat pump, but you don't necessarily put in enough heat pump to cover you at negative 25 degrees outside. Because that could be 4 or 5 units even for a relatively small home.
And here on the prairies, we can get minus 45 with a wind chill kind of thing.
Right, and the heat pump may not even want to run then, so you need to still plan to have gas or electric backup to cover the full capacity when the heat pump's not available.
Got it, okay.
So we're expecting hybrid systems to become the most common, where basically the heat pump charges a buffer tank, and then when the water comes out of there, if it's not quite hot enough, the backup thing boosts it up to your target set point, and that's your system.
Excellent.
I don't see that the gas goes away completely, really in any market, until sometime in the 2040s at the earliest.
Yeah.
So hybrid systems is where we see things going, but with the heat pump taking the primary load as much as possible and also providing cooling, you should see big reductions in utility bills.
Exciting, man. So you guys got lots on the go. I know we're going to be working closely together, roll some of these products out over the next year or so. What are you doing in order to educate the contractor? I know you mentioned training already. Like, do you have a full training strategy, a training plan where you can make sure the contractor's fully up to date and educated before they go in and install?
Yes, we have. So we've recently hired additional trainers and a new training manager who is in the process of building out IBC's training program, including the new pieces like on the heat pump, which is new territory for any of our training materials. And we're working with the U.S. training team on it as well to make sure that we're all on the same page. But yeah, we're building out a new training program for IBC on all of this. We're also working with the Canadian Hydronics Council, who's got their own plans to develop new training programs.
Oh, okay.
For the market. That's just from that perspective, the CHC's, it's product agnostic. It's just good industry knowledge. So we want to support them in developing any content that we can with our expertise, if we can make that better, and then help them promote it. And we're doing kind of awareness and promotion events. We're doing on October 26th in Burnaby. We're going to have Decarbonization Day at the IBC facility. We'll have all of the Rheem heat pump products because we're part of the Rheem group. So it'll be the Proterra water heater and Rude heat pumps and side dischargers and things. They'll all be there on display to see and come and touch and feel, and have similar to this, have some food and drinks for everyone who shows up.
Perfect.
But it's been a bit of an awareness of this is what decarbonization looks like in terms of the products you can get your hands on, and just how broad an offering is now available and needed to meet the new market needs.
Perfect. That's exciting.
It's quite exciting. This heat pump decarbonization electrification revolution, which is really probably a pretty fair term for it, considering the impact, is going to dwarf whatever the impacts were seen by the tankless water heater revolution when that came and started having an impact on tank product. It's still a disruptor in that vein, in that market, but it's nothing compared to what's going to come with heat pumps.
That's going to change the industry like crazy.
Yeah, our recommendation to any contractor or a wholesaler or anyone who's intimidated by heat pumps is demystify them as much as you can. They're not that scary. It's a monoblock. If you can install a boiler, you can install this. But get good at it. Start getting good at selling these things and being familiar with them. And
it's going to be the new norm.
It's because it's coming.
Yeah. Wild.
We are proud to say that as far as I'm aware at the moment, unless something's changed, that we are the first hydronic heat pump on the market from a boiler manufacturer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Some of our competitors, let's say the big one with the L, they've launched heat pumps, but they're water heaters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this is the first hydronic heat pump.
Interesting. That's awesome.
From a boiler manufacturer, to be clear. There are other ones on the market, but they're
from a
specialist companies that do that.
Yeah. You're not a boiler manufacturer. You're a controls manufacturer.
Well,
that happens to make boilers.
That happens to make boilers. So we're the very first boiler and control company to come out with our own hydronic heat pump.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Well, it's going to be a busy year. Looking forward to it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Tom.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thanks everyone for watching.